And he's going to start with the markets today. They're not sort of having a great start to the week, are they?
No, it's not a great start. We'll start actually with the markets in Russia, which have opened unsurprisingly down over the latest developments in the Ukraine crisis. The Mikex index in Moscow down, but you can see 0.4% there in trading. It has started down over about 1%. Fears of further sanctions prompting a further sell-off on that market. It's been quite hard hit over the past few weeks. The ruble's also down around 1% against the dollar in early trading today. Across the rest of the European markets, those tensions in Ukraine also casting a shadow. You can see all of the main markets there opening in the red. The FTSE 100 in London down almost 0.5%. Shares in the mining firm Glencore Xstrata there up by about 0.8% after news it sold its stake in the Peruvian copper mine Las Bambas to a Chinese consortium for almost $6 billion. Technology for the shares, the biggest fallers on the European markets today. Ericsson, just one example, down by some 4% in Stockholm. In Asia, things weren't looking too healthy earlier on either. That technology sell-off also hitting shares in Tokyo. Sharp, the biggest faller there, down over 8% after it announced it was seeking new ways of raising capital.
Going to tell you now about the International Monetary Fund. Their spring meeting wrapped up over the weekend. Some interesting comments, though, from Mario Draghi, amongst others.
Yeah, there's been this continuing discussion we've been having about low inflation in Europe. Prices aren't rising very fast. That means the economy isn't doing as well as many had hoped. Mario Draghi, the president of the European Central Bank, said that he may have to undertake further stimulus measures if that inflation doesn't rise further. That could mean interest rate cuts. It could even mean bond buying, which would be something akin to what the Federal Reserve is doing in the United States. The risk of deflation or falling prices is one of those concerns that was highlighted by the IMF during that meeting. Speaking this Monday, the German Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble said there was no sign of a deflationary cycle here in Europe, but his French counterpart Michel Sapin says that something needs to be done about the strong value of the euro that's hurting exporters.
Yes, the euro is too strong right now. It's abnormally strong. And that is bothersome in general for all the countries of the Eurozone, and in particular for France. Now, it isn't my role to set a level or anything like that. It's the European Central Bank's job to say what it needs to say. I feel that its message was loud and clear this weekend. And already this morning, the markets have reflected that.
Staying in France, and the car maker Peugeot Citroen is to cut the number of models it produces by almost half. It's part of the company's strategic plan to be unveiled later by the new CEO, who's trying to reduce competition between PSA's two brands by 2020.
Washington now, and a host of new companies trying to encroach on Silicon Valley's territory, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. The US capital not known for its technology sector, but an effort's being made in the city to try and cash in on the resources of the federal government that exists there to attract some startups. Companies that are setting up in Washington, D.C. said it's not just good to have ready-made customers on Capitol Hill, they're also pleased to have the talent that the government attracts. William Edwards has more.
1776 says it wants to start a tech revolution. Named after the year the US declared independence, this incubator for technology startups says Washington is ready for a shake-up.
We still access education and healthcare and transportation and energy in the same way we did decades ago. And so DC is poised to be a hub of entrepreneurship because those industries are really ripe for disruption.
Just a year after opening, around 200 companies are based here, attracted both by tax incentives and private funding. New ventures get to interact with other startups and have access to visiting technology and business experts. Among the companies here is Ride Scout. Their app allows users to look up all kinds of travel options. For them, the proximity of government agencies here makes a difference.
We've talked to the Department of Transportation. This is something we think, federal entities would find very useful, both at their workforce level and from a policy perspective.
It's not just access to government that's useful, though. It's also access to the talent that government attracts.
The federal government is always recruiting some of the top computer scientists, and we're able to attract that talent to work at our company.
A 2013 survey by Fast Company magazine found DC had a higher number of startups per capita than any US state. While it may not be about to out-innovate Silicon Valley, it looks like Washington will soon be known for more than just politics.
And we've got more technology for you now. A potential new departure, in fact. This is for Facebook.
Yes, could the bank of Facebook be on the way? According to the Financial Times, the social network is close to getting approval from Irish regulators to provide financial services in Europe. The licence that it's seeking would allow them to hold users' money on Facebook and use it to pay an exchange between users. It'll be a key change of direction for the social network. It makes most of its money now from advertising. This could be a new source of revenue for them. It's said to have approached already several London-based money transfer firms to discuss potential partnerships.
And you will be able to friend your bank, and if you like it, like your balance. Is that right?
Oh, that's what we'd hope for, yeah.
That's
anyway.
what we'd hope for, or probably not like your balance, as the case would be for most of us anyway. Stephen, thanks a lot. Stephen with Business on France 24. Nick's here with international papers today. Of course, Ukraine's still all over the newspapers, isn't it, Nick?